Have you ever noticed something strange during an argument? When two people are shouting, defending themselves, trying to prove their point, there is often one person in the room who stays completely silent. They don't interrupt. They don't raise their voice. Sometimes they don't say anything at all. And strangely, that silent person often appears to have the most control over the situation. Most people think silence means weakness. They assume that if someone doesn't respond immediately, they must have lost the argument. But psychology tells a completely different story. In reality, silence is often a sign of intelligence, emotional control, and deep self-awareness. Highly intelligent people understand something most others don't. Not every argument deserves a reaction. Sometimes the strongest response is no response at all. And in this video, we'll explore the real psychological reasons why intelligent people choose silence during arguments, and why that silence is often more powerful than words. One of the biggest differences between intelligent people and reactive people is emotional control. When arguments begin, emotions often take over. Voices get louder. Words become sharper. And people start saying things they later regret. But intelligent people understand something important. When emotions rise, logic disappears. Instead of reacting immediately, they pause. They give themselves time to think. Because once you say something in anger, you cannot take it back. Many arguments escalate not because the problem is serious, but because both sides feel the need to defend their ego. But intelligent people aren't trying to win the argument. They are trying to understand the situation. And silence gives them the space to do that. When someone remains calm while others are emotional, it often changes the entire dynamic of the conversation. Their silence sends a powerful message. I am not controlled by this moment. Arguments often become worse because both people feel the need to respond instantly. One harsh sentence leads to another, then another. Soon the conversation is no longer about solving the problem, it becomes about winning. Intelligent people recognize this pattern very quickly. They understand that reacting immediately can fuel the fire. So instead of adding more words to the conflict, they choose silence. This pause can completely change the energy of the situation. When one person stops reacting, the argument often loses momentum. The other person may suddenly realize they are speaking emotionally rather than logically. Silence creates space. And sometimes that space allows people to calm down and think clearly again. Most people enter arguments with one goal: to prove they are right. But intelligent people enter conversations with a different goal: to understand. And understanding requires listening. When someone speaks without interruption, they often reveal much more than they intended. Their emotions, their fears, their frustrations. Silence encourages people to keep talking. And the more someone talks, the more information becomes available. That information can reveal the real cause of the conflict. Sometimes the argument isn't really about the topic at all. It might be about stress, insecurity, or feeling unheard. By staying silent and listening carefully, intelligent people gain insight that reactive people completely miss. Arguments can be emotionally exhausting. Some people argue simply because they enjoy conflict. They provoke reactions, raise their voice, and try to pull others into unnecessary drama. But intelligent people recognize these situations quickly. They understand that not every disagreement deserves their time or energy. Sometimes silence is not about losing an argument. It's about refusing to participate in a pointless one. When someone realizes you will not react emotionally, they often lose interest in continuing the conflict. Because arguments require two participants. Without a reaction, the argument slowly fades. and intelligent people prefer peace over pointless battles. Many people believe that silence means weakness. But in reality, silence often requires far more strength than speaking. Anyone can react emotionally. Anyone can shout louder to defend their ego. But remaining calm under pressure takes confidence. It shows that a person does not feel threatened by the situation. They do not feel the need to prove themselves. Their self-worth is not dependent on winning an argument. This quiet confidence can sometimes be more powerful than any words. Because when someone remains calm while others are losing control, people notice. And that calm presence often earns more respect than any clever response. Silence during arguments is often misunderstood. Many people assume that the quiet person has nothing to say. But the truth is often the opposite. They have learned that words spoken in anger rarely solve problems. They understand that emotional reactions only make conflicts worse. And they know that sometimes, the most powerful response is patience. Intelligent people choose silence not because they are weak, but because they are strong enough to control their emotions, protect their energy, and think before they speak. And in a world where everyone is trying to be heard, the person who knows when to stay silent often holds the most power. If you enjoyed this video and want to understand more hidden psychological behaviors that shape human interactions, make sure to subscribe to the channel and explore more videos like this. Because sometimes the smallest psychological insights can completely change the way you see people.